Welcome back to the Football Terrace. It's 5 p.m. Smash the like button. Hit the share button as well. Transfer news are plenty for you today on this wonderful... It's a wonderful Monday. It's a wonderful Monday. It really is. Champions League football beckons. We're live at 9 p.m. tonight with the first installment of preview this week, looking ahead to the Porto-Chelsea game and, of course, the PSG-Bayern Munich game as well. So we've got that to look forward to. We've got an interesting night of Europa League football as well. And, of course, we slapped Tottenham yesterday. So I'm in a really good mood. We're going to delve into more detail today, what's going on with the facts behind this Jadon Sancho story. A lot of trending articles and tweets and excitement today. But we're going to go through what is really going on with that. Man United also linked with a £43 million centre-back. We're going to delve into that in a little bit more detail. There's a few other elements as well that we want to speak about today. I can't remember his name. Rennes midfielder. Camavinga will not be signing a new deal. He's rejected a new contract at Rennes as it stands right now. A little bit of Arsenal news for you as well. Plus, we're taking your calls and any questions, thoughts, and feelings that you have got as well. What I need from you all right now, though, is like buttons to be smashed. Subscribe to the Football Terrace if you haven't done so already. Boom, boom, boom to you too. Thank you very, very much. Get your comments in. I'm joined right now by a man like KJ. How's it going, bro?
Where you go force a Football Terrace back into his cave, it just always feels good. I feel like the CIA, bro. Wonderful. You know what I'm saying? Man was sitting here. I was basically Obama when they took out Bin Laden, fam. That's basically what man was sitting here watching it from the Oval Office, fam. Was watching Annihilation. We love to see it.
Absolutely, mate. It's a nice. Do you know what? It's always a nice when you have a big weekend of football. You know, Chelsea won, West Ham won, Liverpool won, Leicester lost. It was a great opportunity for us to lay our marker down. We were the best performing team of the weekend. We came from behind. We overcame the referee adversity and everything else, and just the right people played well. It was a perfect weekend for Man United. Big week of football ahead as well. But the transfer window is upon us very, very soon. What I didn't really think about until the other day is we've only got about a month to 5 weeks of football left. It's all going to be over very, very soon. Then we go into the summer, which is transfer window aplenty.
And Euros.
And yeah, but that feeds in massively to the transfer. Teams will try to get a lot of work done early. The selling clubs try and delay it until after the Euros if one of their players is, of course, going, because a good tournament can increase price. So it's going to be a mammoth summer when it comes to transfer windows. And there's lots to go through today. We're going to start with the Jadon Sancho story and kind of go through it in sort of granular detail, really. So a lot of people messaged me this morning and said, are you doing a story? Are you going to do a video on Jadon Sancho agreeing wages in personal terms with Man United? And my first thought, of course I'll talk about that if it's true. So I've done some research. I've read articles, spoke with Sed and a few other people today just about the news that's been circulating today that he has agreed personal terms, etc. And it's a little bit of I want to say this in the right way. It's not wrong that he's agreed personal terms, but nothing official has taken place. It's a sense of Jadon Sancho, via his representatives, have said they still want to join Manchester United Football Club. It is still a priority choice high up on the pecking order for Jadon Sancho. Agreeing personal terms isn't going to be a problem because what they want, Man United have unofficially agreed to pay. So you could semantics come into play. You can say it's agreed, you can say it isn't agreed, but they're not going to be a problem either way. It's going to be done. When it comes to the Jadon Sancho deal, these are the facts. Man United had a £91 million bid rejected at the end of the 2020 summer transfer window. Dortmund, nothing is done, nothing is signed or agreed at this moment. It's only sort of talk times at the moment between the clubs and intermediaries because Dortmund haven't set a price. And that's where things are right now. Dortmund have not set a price for Jadon Sancho, thus no bid can be made. Man United are waiting. However, Man United have said they're only going to proceed if there is a significant drop in the £110 million valuation that Dortmund have set. Now, industry insiders think that the price could drop as low as £80 million this summer due to financial restraints on Dortmund having no fans all year. Plus, they may not be qualifying for the Champions League. And there isn't a guarantee they're going to sell Haaland if nobody actually comes in with a bid as it stands right now. So in terms of Jadon Sancho, it's in a very good position for Manchester United. They've done all they can at this point, but nothing is going to move forward. There is no official personal terms that have been agreed, and none will be agreed until a price is set. So right now, it's in a really good space. Man United fans should feel happy about it. But, if anybody says personal terms have been signed and agreed to, the clubs have come to an agreement, right now, as it stands, none of that is true.
Well, we go again, Terry. We go around the merry-go-round again with Jadon Sancho. That's when the trauma of last summer and Jadon Sancho happened. I was very much like, I don't want to hear it. Don't want to get sucked in again. It's over. It's finished. He's not going to come to Manchester United. Due to the season how it's turned out, I'm ready to relapse. I'm ready to go back into the pain, the addiction, which is transfer stories involving Jadon Sancho to Man United. Because of Haaland's development, because of how he's done, Jadon Sancho has somewhat gone under the radar. People are saying he's had an underwhelming season. The man still got like 16 goals and 12 assists, something ridiculous, in 31 games.
Yeah.
That's still a very good season. And due to the fact that other teams are not looking at him as hard as potentially they would have if Haaland wasn't flying, this is a good opportunity for Manchester United to go in and have another shot at Jadon Sancho. If it is correct that he still wants to join us, you've probably seen our poor performances recently and been like, actually, no, there's still something there that I can see can grow. Coupled with the fact that actually he's probably looking around, it's like, well, the Chelsea don't want me.
Yeah,
they're cleaning up. Liverpool are waiting to see if they sell some of their stars before they would try to come in for me. Tottenham and Arsenal can't afford me, and Man City. Well, I'm not going to go back there because I'm done with Man City. So the options for him are Manchester United and what, Barca, Madrid, PSG, if they even decide they want him. But everyone's wanting Haaland, so this is a beautiful opportunity to go and get him. Do I believe we will? I don't know. I heard it all before. And he wants to join. He's happy. Blah blah blah. He's got the wages set and everything. But we don't know with this new structure. We don't know with Dortmund. We have no idea, fam. We have absolutely no idea.
Well, on that, in terms of what we do know, is Man United have, in terms of what they've briefed the press, is they are not willing this summer to get into long, drawn out negotiations. So we know they've said that. This is where I'm so intrigued to see Man United moving forward, is how we actually behave. How we actually behave in the window. If the Sancho deal continues to, because what happened last summer was very simple. They set a deadline. We didn't put the bid in they want by the deadline, and they said it was over. Man United kept on briefing the press that we're still going to go back in, and Man United did go back in on the 29th of September. That for me was foolhardy in respect to that. Now, financially, Man United could find themselves in a very interesting position if they get him for 80-90 million pound a year later. They've signed him for less than they originally bid. From a business point of view, that stands up as excellent work by Manchester United, although we could have done with him this year, and I would be prepared for us to have spent an extra 10, 20, 30 million pound on him to have him here for this season. So I'll still be frustrated by that. It's Dortmund who can end up walking away looking stupid, because not only would they get less for the player, they haven't qualified for the Champions League also. So they're down massively on what they thought they were going to have financially at this point. But it's going to be an interesting one. A lot of people are saying they won't believe it until he's actually holding United. And absolutely right. But you've got to remember, the only thing holding up this deal is the clubs agreeing on a price. That's the only thing that is holding up this deal. Now, the sale of Haaland could change the sale of Jadon Sancho, because they may decide, actually, we don't need the money as much now, because we've got someone that's actually put forward £150 million for Haaland, as an example. They may, though, look at the other end and go, still need to get rid of Sancho, because by next summer, he's a year further into his contract and he isn't happy to stay, and we don't want an unhappy player. He may not have as good a year. The valuation could drop further. So it's going to be really interesting. The only thing the viewers have to realize that's holding this deal up is the clubs coming to an agreement. Man United are waiting for what the price is going to be. if it's within the remit they find acceptable and what they've been told it's going to be, a bid will be placed. It could be a deal that gets done if everything that's been reported into us by some fairly credible sources, and when I say us, I mean the football fans, then it could be done fairly quickly. But it depends what Dortmund set and then how Man United go about it. If it's set at 80 million and we try and negotiate it down further, I'm going to switch off from the deal because it's going to bore me senseless. Just get the bid in and get it done.
We have to be quick. Like you said, the Haaland deal might change things due to the fact that they've got the money to last another year without fans potentially and not being in Champions League. This Haaland deal will take a long time. So if as Manchester United, if we take as long as to try and get the Sancho deal done and it takes the same amount of time as the Haaland deal, it just shows nothing has changed at Manchester United. This deal is meant to be done quickly and swiftly now because, again, we're in a one-horse race. Everyone else is distracted. Sancho wants United, allegedly. Man United wants Sancho. The agent fees, the wages, all that ain't gonna be an issue. Sit in that boardroom, get that price negotiated, and don't try and do okay, so we'll give you 40 now, and then 20 next year, and then 10 if we win the Premier League, and then 16 if we get 30 goals plus we win the Champions League. No, none of that. Straight up. This is the price. Here's how we're gonna do it. Bang, get it sorted. Stop. And then I see eye test in the comments. I do see you, my brother. And he's basically saying that if we get this deal done for around 80 million, we need to apologize to the Glazers for being on their back for not paying to us, etc. I am not going to do that because this wasn't the plan. If this was the plan, I wouldn't even kill the Glazers. I wouldn't even gone after them because I'm like, all right, cool. I can clearly see what they're trying to do. Bring in a winger on loan. Wait for the right time. I could have bought into that. This was not the plan. They did not expect Jadon Sancho to be available again for a lower price this season. They did not. So I would not give them any praise. Them and Ed Woodward don't deserve nothing. They got a deal. They got a second chance at a deal that they should have done in the first place. So if they get it done, cool, isn't it? But it's not by design. And that's why I won't give any praise.
This is very, very true. I mean, nobody, at the time that the deal was rejected, the 29th of September, we had no idea that the hopes were football fans to be back by December. Nobody expected Dortmund not to make the Champions League. Nobody, not one person predicted that to happen based on the squad they had. So they've had two really good bits of luck go their favor, Man United. So they should be capitalizing on that now and getting the business done. And that's my point back to earlier. If there's an opportunity to sign him and we don't get it done, and we end up in a situation where we end up trying to negotiate it down further and it drags on for a couple of months, it's going to take the shine off the deal. It's going to frustrate the living daylights out of the player, and we don't want to take the risk of going through a second summer and not landing him. The Haaland deal, I understand it taking this amount of time. This is where football fans, I'm going to sound rude here, but I've got to listen to professionals, and I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about listen to transfer experts. If there's 5 or 6 clubs going in for a player, it will take a long time. Get that in your heads right away. That's no particular club's fault. That's just the nature of a 4, 5, 6-way negotiation pattern. A comment here from J Ling's fam says, serious question, will Sancho actually come good or be another Depay? Listen, we can't answer that question. We'll all have a view and an opinion. He grew up playing in the English game. He's from England. So he doesn't have to address the culture, the weather, the physicality of playing British and English football. He came through the ranks here. He knows Manchester. He's already lived there before. So a lot of the elements, when you listen to players that haven't made it in the league, you listen to a lot of the reasons they give, he's fine in all those categories. Does that guarantee he's going to deliver to the same level as in Germany? No. What I find really interesting, though, is so many people tell me all the time, right? All the time is, the English league isn't the best. Bundesliga this, the Liga that, Serie A that. And then people are like, well, what if he's a flop over here? Well, if our league's easier than all these leagues you tell us are better than us, then Andy from this country, there should be no real problems. But what you're actually saying is, the Premier League's harder, right? The Premier League's harder, so there's still a reason to think that he may not make it. But I'm pretty confident that Jadon Sancho will.
Yeah.
There's a few more stories we want to go through. Then we're going to open up the lines for your calls. But do us a favor, all the viewers, smash the like button right now for us, please. Get that done. as it stands right now. There's another story today about Man United here. It says Man United are reportedly making significant progress over a transfer deal for Villarreal's central defender Torres. The Spanish international is also a target of Real Madrid, but multiple sources in Spain now suggest Man United is stepping up their efforts to sign him and making progress in doing so. In terms of Torres, KJ, is that the kind of profile of centre-back you want to be linked to?
I have no idea how he plays. I have never seen him kick a football in my life. So I can't comment on the player itself. I just gotta hope and can't believe I'm saying this, trust that they've scouted this guy and he's good enough to play for us. I hear he's left-footed. We need that, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's got pace or if he's quick. We need someone to complement Maguire. As long as he's the right kind of centre-back, I'm happy with him coming into the team. The price I'm hearing as well is not as steep and not as dear as freaking Koundé's. It's a lot cheaper. So if that gives us more room to spend again, I'm here for that as well. So yeah, Pau Torres, if he is what people say he is, then yeah, welcome him to the club and let's go forward. But I can't sit here and say that I know. And me personally, my choice is Varane. He's running down his contract. He looks. I don't know if you're going to sign a new one. Try and get into his ear early, and try and see if you can persuade him to come to Manchester United. If not, then sure, Pau Torres is also perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, he's a good age as well, Pau Torres. I mean, as I said, I'm the same as you. I don't know too much about him, but the reports I read are very, very good. Very talented player. He's at that age now, 24, where he wants that big move. Real Madrid. The only thing that stands out to me is he's Spanish. If Real Madrid want him and they've got the money, he's Spanish. I don't understand why he would pick Man United over the most prestigious team in Spain, who, in my opinion, are going to win La Liga this year. I think they're going to come through. And they've now become my dark horse for the Champions League in the sense of too many people have written them off like, they're trash. Just disregarded them at all. And I'm thinking 13 times Champions League winners. I actually had someone the other day saying you can't count all their Champions Leagues because they won some of them so long ago. I'm like, bro, they got that kind of heritage runs deep through a football club.
And also, even if you exclude that, then they still won 3 Champions League in a row. Recently, but that's what I'm saying. It makes no sense.
They won 4 in 5 years. It's even better than that, really. So, yeah, Pau Torres, talented player by all accounts. I'm not an expert on him. The left-footed element is what I got excited about when reading up about him, when watching some of his stuff on Y-Scout, is he's left-footed. And I think we lack that balance defensively. It always takes Maguire. He has to always put the ball onto his stronger foot when he's out on that left-hand side, when he's got to move the ball out to Luke Shaw. Having someone who's left-footed, it just, those kind of little nanoseconds. Yeah, those half a seconds more, especially when you're being pressed. The way we play is we want to attract the press and be able to pass through it to open teams up. We did it brilliantly in the second half yesterday, and the centre-backs were imperative to that. Getting that ball out quickly to Luke Shaw was important to circumvent that press, and we did it well. So I do like the sound of him for that. The £43 million is an excellent price in the modern day game. In the modern day game, it's very, very good when you consider people, how much we paid for Maguire, how much Napoli wanted a couple of years. I bet Napoli are regretting now asking for so much money for Koulibaly a couple of years ago. I bet they wish they actually cashed in on him. But this is what happens, bro, all the time. Teams, Palace, they should have just taken £50 million that teams are offering Zaha instead of trying to get 70, because they're getting nowhere near 50 million for the guy now, because mainly age, and his contract's running down. So many teams try to get greedy when it comes to these negotiations,
and then it ruins their football club, because the money that they would have used. It's not like here's the thing, it's not like they're saying no to the 50 millions for Zaha for the Koulibalys and then going out themselves, spend 50, 60, 70 million on a player because they can. They're still scrimping and saving while saying, I want 70 mil. So you're hurting yourself just to look like you're the guy. But really and truly, that 50 million, you tell me that Crystal Palace couldn't have bought some good players with that money to invalidate their team. And now look, every time he gets injured, every time Zaha's out, they struggle. You've just literally wasted your own time and your own money for nothing. Like literally, it's ridiculous.
You look at Spurs. I know, like Spurs at the minute. Like, oh, we're not going to sell Harry Kane. It's one of the stories we're going to. Well, we'll do it now. Like Spurs have come out and again been quoted and have spoken to the media and said we're not going to allow Harry Kane to leave for less than 120 mil, and we will not be selling him to a Premier League team. I call BS straight up. 100%, I do. I think they're doing it as their first sort of marker for negotiations, as an example. But actually, it's bad for the club. If no foreign team comes in for him and they don't sell him, he's only going to his valuation will drop each and every single year, and you're going to have a disgruntled player. Use it now. Get the 120 mil from Man United or get the 120 mil from Chelsea, whoever, and use that money and reinvest it into your squad. I'll tell you who would do that. Liverpool. And Liverpool have success in recent years of winning major trophies. They didn't want him to. They tried to keep Philippe Coutinho. The record has to be straight on that. They tried for 6 months tirelessly to stop him from going, but he decided to leave. But they took all the pennies raised and they reinvested it into the squad. So from a Spurs point of view, you're better off, in my opinion, cashing in on Harry Kane now, reinvesting that plus some into your squad. And that sees you right for the next 5 to 10 years, as opposed to keep another Harry Kane for another 2 or 3 years. He comes towards the end of his contract and he's worth £30 million in the market. And what have you, especially then if you don't win anything?
Yeah, you don't win anything. And then you'll be like, oh, but now we haven't got the money to invest in the squad. You would have had it if you sold it for 100 or 120 M's. That's what I mean. It's about being opportunistic. I know this is a video game, but when you play Football Manager, you got a player who's on form a year, 2 years, or 3 years in. Someone offers big money. What do? You're like, actually, let me accept that and buy that wonder kid from Mexico. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's still a video, but the concept is still there. Take the money while the player is hot property, and then invest it in all areas of your squad. Because guess what? That player will retire. That player ain't lasting forever. So holding on to him for this donkey's years for you guys to win nothing anyway is a waste. I just think it's a waste. Use your asset now, cash in, and reinvest.
It's also important. What Liverpool did all those years ago with Fernando Torres was perfect. They could also see they could see he was physically coming to the end of the peak of his powers because of them hamstring injuries. They cashed in when the valuation was still really, really high. And then they spent the money terribly. But the initial part, Andy Carroll, I suppose, no, they also got some Luis Suarez as part of it. But the majority of that money went on Andy Carroll, which wasn't great. Or maybe they'd already done a deal for Luis Suarez. I can't quite remember. But that business of selling Fernando Torres was perfect. It was almost the most perfect finesse that I've ever seen in my life. They got if you younger people got to remember 50 mil at that time for a striker was colossal money. It was colossal money being nearly a decade, or it was about a decade ago. It was absolutely brilliant. It really, really was. We're going to open up the phone lines now for you to have your say. We're talking Jadon Sancho to Manchester United, Harry Kane leaving Tottenham. The price has been set at £120 million, and no English teams is what's being said. There was the other part of the story we mentioned today, and I don't know how this feeds into many people, but Camavinga, is it Camavinga? Is that pronounced right?
Camavinga, yeah.
Camavinga has rejected a new contract from Rennes. He is looking to leave as soon as possible. I've seen him called the next Q every single French midfield player in recent times. Next Vieira, next Paul Pogba, next. Someone actually said the next Blaise Matuidi. I don't know if that's an insult or not, but you've got to remember this.
Matuidi back. Yeah, he was a good player, man. He was a good player. He's won a lot of stuff.
55 million pound valuation for this young 18-year-old midfielder. His contract expires in the summer of 2022. He's got 1 year left. Rennes are going to have to cash in on him this summer if he's not signing a new deal. Otherwise, they risk losing him for pennies and small amounts of compensation. They really, really do. They have got to go out of the way to get that done. And just to recap in terms of the Jadon Sancho news. No deal has been struck between the player and Manchester United, although agreeing terms will not be an issue. Man United have everything set and in place to get the deal done. It's as close as it has ever been. All they are waiting for is for Dortmund to set the price. The intermediaries have told Manchester United that the price will be well below what they bid in the summer, between 10 and 15 million pounds lower. They're looking at a price of around circa 80 million pounds. If that happens, Man United has said to then be willing to submit their bid. The deal could be done pretty quickly. All the reports today that personal terms are actually agreed, shirt numbers have been agreed, all of this. Officially, no. Unofficially, yes. But we want your thoughts and opinions. Smash that like button. Hit the share button as well. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. I'm going to put the link in to the live chat functionality now as well. Call in. I should have sometimes set this up prior. Also, make sure you sign up to our Discord server. And a big shout out to our title sponsors, Manscaped. You can still get, up until the end of this month, 20% off of all their male grooming products. Their link and our promo code TFT are in the description below. So go and check that out right about now, ladies and gentlemen. Link's been shared as well. What is Torres doing in retirement?
Just been a good. All right, listen, you know what he's doing, yeah? Man's doing weightlifting and getting hench with Akin Fenema, bro. That's what he's doing. Like, I saw it on Instagram one time. I was like, wow, his neck is looking wham, bro. Like, it's just...
Yeah, I see. I've seen that. I've seen that. Yeah, it's serious work being done there. Hang on. I love people's reactions to these stories. Some people make me die, bruv. They're absolutely hilarious. I don't give it any attention, but it's funny. Tuchel wants Camavinga. Maybe he does. If you sign Camavinga, that must be it then for Billy Gilmore. But that'd be interesting. So Chelsea fans, Billy Gilmore or Camavinga, who do you want to come through? Who do you want to be developed as it stands right now? El Matador, I'd give him a 1 year extension. We're not signing a striker this summer, maybe next summer, and we can allow Cavani to leave. Listen, Gabriel, depends on who we sign. If we sign Sancho, we bring a CDM and we get a centre-back, it wouldn't bother me renewing Cavani's deal for another year. That makes sense. It's if we don't sign anybody else. Like we saw yesterday, if we create chances, he's fine to put them away. He's a good striker. We do need to try and look for something a little more long term, but let's see what happens. It's one of those things as well. If no one signs Haaland and no one signs Harry Kane, then I'm less bothered about us not being the team to get it done. If those players are legitimately in the market, you have to try and sign them because there's only 3 or 4 of them in the world. There's Haaland, there's Lewandowski, there's Harry Kane. What other strikers legitimately right now are on their level? There's others that may get there, and maybe that's other people's options, but it depends what else we do. We need more creativity. Sancho is a must. Jayling's here again, says, did you see Lingard being linked with Real Madrid and PSG? I did. Listen, I'm telling you right now, categorically what that was. That was Man United saying, all right, let's get a lively queue in order. Everybody get yourselves together right now because we want the bids to come in. Let's get West Ham and whoever else is interested thinking that bigger clubs are interested to get those bids in. That's exactly what that means.
So I saw at the end of it, he said, if that is true, that means he has to come back to Manchester United. No, it don't. Even if it was true, no, it don't. We've seen Jesse Lingard in the Manchester United shirt for how many years? It is time. Like I said about Spurs and Tottenham and other teams, it's time to cash in. When the player is hot property, cash in and reinvest. We don't need to see what Lingard would be like in United shirt. It's not like we just bought him. It's not like he's just a player from abroad and we've loaned him out to get experience. He's 28, English from our academy, who's got over 100 appearances for Manchester United. We know what Jesse Lingard is in our shirt. If you love him, let him go and get the money for him. It's time to sell.
Could not agree with you more. We're going to go to some of your calls now. As I've said, we've shared the link in the comment sections a few times. We've spammed it a little bit, if I'm being absolutely honest. And I'll do it again, just in case you missed it. Want your views, want your phone up about the stories, please, or another transfer. So if someone phones up to say, I want to speak about the current situation going on at Leyton Orient, I will hang up. Not to be rude, but we're here to talk about this particular agenda, these particular stories. First on the show, we're going to go to... I can't even pronounce the name if I'm being honest. Onzo is, I think, how you pronounce it. Welcome to the Terrace. There we go. What are you saying, bro? I'm good, man. What's
good? Yeah, so I'm just going to speak on 2 things real quickly. The Camavinga, I don't think United will get him because I don't think United are the type of team to try battle with other teams. That's why I believe we're more likely to get Sancho than to get like Haaland or anything. But the problem with Sancho now that I realized from yesterday is, yeah, he may have the creativity on the right side, but if Cavani decides to leave, then I think we're going to be in big trouble because I can't see Martial. Martial doesn't have that type of movement. Like, he's the type of guy to get the ball and then more likely try feeding Bruno, whereas we need a striker who has the movement of Cavani. And I don't want people to start saying, "Oh, Greenwood this," because I feel like Greenwood's like just 20. Like, we still shouldn't rush him. Like, people should give Greenwood a chance to just develop his game so that at least like he could become the player. He shouldn't start straight away. So yeah, that's it.
That's a fair point. Go on, Terry.
No, do you know what's interesting about what you say there, mate? Is some people moan and get frustrated, and they kick off that we overplay Rashford and we overplay Bruno because we don't have anybody else for their position, or they'll kick off, or Harry Kane gets overused because Spurs don't have any backup or cover for him, and that's why he has his injury problems. Yet Man United talk about having two players, say Cavani and Greenwood, to play in that position, and people moan that it's going to ruin the development of Mason Greenwood. What do you want? Competition and cover for positions, or just one person in that position playing all the time and running themselves into the ground? You need, for me, the competition. Cavani staying or Haaland coming in or Kane coming in isn't going to stop Mason Greenwood achieving his levels if he's good enough to achieve those levels.
No, that's true. To me personally, I think we should still let Cavani go. It's not because I don't like him. He's for what he's done for us. I'm happy with what he's done for us. He's not the number 7 curse hasn't really like destroyed him, which we have at this club. So that's good. But I feel like with his age, with his injury record that we've already seen at the club, he's going to be 1 year older. I predict more injuries potentially, more time out. It's going to be more rumors, more rumblings about him wanting to go home anyway. Let him go early, and again, bring in someone who maybe they're not Cavani. Maybe they're not Cavani as in the history and the player that there was, but someone again who can just do what we need him to do, which is have that movement in the box and put it away.
So who is that then? So if we can't get Harry Kane or Haaland, who would be the striker that could come in and replace in the short term Cavani?
Danny Ings.
Danny Ings. So you would take Danny Ings over Cavani for a year? Yeah.
He's younger, he's quicker. The injury record is basically the same. Like, I think honestly, I think he would do a job for us. He would do a job, and then again, Mason Greenwood will get more time up front, more time to develop, and then when he's fully ready, you're not gonna have Danny Ings for the next 2-3 years being the number 9. You've already developed your number 9. So I don't believe that. Listen, someone like him, a Jovic, a Andre Silva, someone like, listen, freaking Edouard from Celtic. Listen, it's not. I don't think those are bad shouts. If there's a plan to it.
Yeah.
Interesting viewers. Listen, Onzo, thank you very much for your call. I really appreciate it. Viewers, what do you think? Danny Ings in, Cavani out if we can't sign one of the better strikers in terms of Harry Kane and Haaland? I want your views and opinions. Next up on the show, we've got legendary villain. Welcome back to the Terrace, mate. What do you want to say?
Yo, what's up? How are you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. First of all, before you make your points, would you sell Cavani and sign Danny Ings?
No.
Fair enough. What did you ring to say, bro?
My point is just, I'll get straight to the point. I think we should play Greenwood in the center for the next season, and I think we should buy a backup striker to kind of make Greenwood actually see in terms of how to move as a striker during training. So I think we should focus on Greenwood at this point as our center forward to give him, like, obviously experience and also time on the pitch playing as a center forward. Because right now we're moving Greenwood to the right side of the pitch, and right now he's not learning anything. Yes, he's learning in training, but he needs the actual match day experience. So I think we should focus on Greenwood as our center forward, and we should buy backup striker. Does
I
not.
actually agree with
Okay.
you for once.
So on the backup striker,
once?
who is that backup striker then? Danny Ings.
I won't go for Danny Ings. I'll go for some, maybe someone cheaper, but someone that is experienced in
Cheap. You can get Danny Ings on a free.
Who?
for free.
Yeah, you can get Danny
Uh,
Ings for free.
I'm going to say something. It might sound crazy, but Holly Watkins from Aston Villa, maybe.
See, I don't disagree with the quality, but I don't think Ollie Watkins wants to leave to be a backup at Man United. I think
Yeah,
Ollie
agree.
Watkins looks at himself as saying, "Well, what I want, I wouldn't disagree with the personnel. What I want is for us to sign another striker who wants to be the number 9." And this is where Man United fans have got to stop being little crybabies and accept that no position is a guarantee. If Ollie Watkins comes in and is killing it, Mason sits his ass on the
I
pine.
agree with that.
Yeah.
But I'm just for the foreseeable future. I think that should be Mason's role, just the centre forward position, because I think if you keep moving Mason to the right hand side of the pitch, eventually as a manager you're just gonna think, you know what, maybe that's his best natural position. But we all know his best natural position is playing as a centre forward.
For me, this is why Sancho is so important, because then on the right hand side you have Diallo and Sancho, and if you really need to, Dan James. There's less of an excuse to see Mason Greenwood out there, so you can play more centrally. Terry, you just said that you want a striker who's hungry to be the number 9. Are you telling me Danny Ings doesn't have that hunger? He went to Liverpool, didn't work out. He came back to Southampton. He's been scoring goals. He's on form. You can get him for free. Danny Ings, I think, if you want someone to grow in that number 9 position for Manchester United, he's someone that could do that while competing with Mason Greenwood.
He could. I suppose there's a different conversation here being had. I was talking about keeping Cavani for another year and then going for a Harry Kane or a Haaland the year after.
No, I can't see United getting Kane. I can see Man City getting Kane and Haaland. I do not want us to deal with that,
and that's fine. And that's fine. That's a completely separate point to what I was talking about. My view is if we're talking about having an interim striker for a year or so before we go for our main target, and it doesn't matter where we all think Harry Kane Haaland's going to go, then I see Cavani. It's worthwhile re-signing Cavani. If we want someone different from Cavani, and we know we're not going to spend the money on Harry Kane or Haaland regardless, then a Danny Ings or an Ollie Watkins wouldn't bother me, with Mason Greenwood being the lead and those individuals coming in to strike forward. Again, it really depends how you're framing the questions for me. But if we're saying we just need a makeshift or an interim for a year, and then we're going to go big for Kane or big for Haaland, let's say that's what the situation how the situation plays out, then I don't want a Danny Ings or an Ollie Watkins. I want us to go for the 2 better strikers than him. If we can't get those players, then of course I'd absolutely love that. But my fear of signing an Ollie Watkins or a Danny Ings is it would cause such more horrendous splits and divides amongst our fans. We see it all. We see it already. The amount of Martial FC merchants yesterday.
Yeah, I don't have
all game until he scored. Oh, he does all the things that we know Martial's great at. They were moaning that he doesn't do, and it's like, well, we know Cavani's not going to do that, but you same people moan that we criticize Martial for not doing the things that he isn't good at doing. The irony is crazy, and I think it would just frustrate the living daylights out of me. Listen, Legendary Villain, thank you very much for coming on. And of course, all your super chats as well. Top man, Stephen here. Stephen Bauer says, how about Karim Benzema? Listen, if you can get Karim Benzema for a couple of years, give me that guy. One of probably the most underrated striker of the last 20 years in Europe. And I think because Ronaldo was there, everybody stopped looking at Benzema.
Yeah, Benzema, he's class, absolutely class footballer, and a wavy person. I forgot to mention as well, if you're going for like first choice number 9s that you could buy which isn't developing Greenwood, mine is personally Lautaro Martinez. I feel like he can be an absolutely class striker. I don't see us getting Haaland, I don't see us getting Kane, so Martinez for me is the one.
Yeah. There's a few comments here saying, Terry, stop hating on Martial. Terry has a Martial agenda. No, you misinterpret me. Martial FC do you know Martial FC think Anthony Martial thinks Martial FC are a bunch of dickheads. If he met them and they were to lay out their agendas and how they talk about his teammates, Anthony Martial would say, get these fools away from me. He wouldn't want that at all because he understands football. I love Anthony Martial. He's a brilliant football player. What I have a problem with is charlatans pretending to be Manchester United fans that sit there and slag every other single player off, no matter how good or bad they do, just to try and elevate Martial. Martial doesn't need that kind of person around him. Martial's got proper Man United fans that know what he's great at, know what he's weak at, and support him regardless. Martial FC, bunch of charlatans. Get the hell out of here. Martial FC are not Martial. They're two different things. Martial doesn't like Martial FC. Pogba hates Pogba FC. Hates them. Because if you stood in front of Pogba and spoke about Bruno, said, oh, by the way, Pogs, we love you, bro, and this is what we think of Bruno, he would tell you all to get out of his space, get away. That's what he'd say to you. Imagine the people you fanboy think you're dickheads. We got Fixer on the show. What you saying, bruv?
Hey, guys. How you guys doing this beautiful afternoon?
Yeah, all good, all good. What's on your mind? What do you want to say, brother?
Yeah, I was going to say, the guy that said Karim Benzema, he smashed it. That was what I was going to say. Karim Benzema would be the perfect, if we were to get rid of Cavani, actually not get rid, but if we were to let him go, Benzema will be the perfect stand-in. But if not Benzema, I got one name for you guys. It might surprise you guys. Patrick Bamford. What do you think?
No, he's a wavy baller, but his conversion rate is poor. Like,
yeah, because he plays for Leeds. I think if he came to Man United and
No, Fixer, you don't understand. He plays for Leeds. That's exactly why his conversion rate is poor, and that's why I don't think it's a good thing. You know how many chances they make for him? He's got the most missed big chances in the league. Like, yes, like he's not clinical. That's his major issue. Like, I get he's a good footballer. He's more wavy than I thought. But if you go in the for you want someone who's clinical, who's like a gunman. Bamford ain't the guy, but he plays at Leeds and he still misses bare chances. So
yeah, but I think
that's a no for me personally.
I think if he came to United, he said he'll be perfect to like allow Greenwood develop, and we can just play him every now and then. We don't have to like we're not gonna hang our hat on him. But I think if we give him like some opportunities, he'll be all right. Every time I've seen him, he's done fine.
Listen, for me, I understand why you're saying it. I still have reservations over Danny Ings. Like something in the back of my head. Is he real? Listen, but my point is, Danny Ings, Ollie Watkins, and Bamford, all these strikers, they're all a level below in terms of ability of what, and maybe multiple levels below the Greenwoods, the Haalands, the Mbappes, the Kanes, and that's the kind of personnel we've been saying for months and years and weeks we want. I think Bamford though overall, I don't know. I'm just not sold on him. He had a very good season this year. He's had other seasons in the Premier League where he hasn't quite.
Bielsa rates him, Bielsa calls him Patrick.
What I'm saying is though, bruv, is that he's had other seasons in the league, in the Premier League where he hasn't really cut it, and under every other manager, he's never really hit the mustard. He's done it under Bielsa and Bielsa's system. I would want one more year of watching him in the Premier League, seeing if he can deliver to the same standard before I go, I'm convinced he's kind of reached those levels, if that makes sense. Danny Ings, when he's been fit before, has done it for other teams and at multiple other stages. So there's that pedigree there to be seen. Ollie Watkins, I've got the same reservations about him. I want to see what he does next year before I'm convinced that he's legitimately a Premier League striker. You can sometimes have that burst onto the scene season where teams are not too sure about you, how to mark you, how to nullify you. Let's see what he does next year. Ollie Watkins could go all season and score 2 league goals, and then no one's going to want him. You don't want to be the team that buys him, and then you find out he's average.
Yeah.
And he's really good.
DCL is getting a lot of shouts in the comments. Calvert-Lewin. What do you think?
Calvert-Lewin is too good to bring in as an interim. He's too good for that.
Yeah,
Calvert-Lewin. Bring somebody. Benzema will be the guy because he's 33 years old now, or even 34. So he probably has like maybe a couple of 3 years at the top before he goes to Qatar or China or something. So we can just use that time, get some goals out of him. One question: you guys know how much Jadon Sancho is worth now?
Not sure.
90 million pounds.
According to who?
According to Transfer Market.
Don't listen to them, bro. They're not official. What you need to do is you need to check out one of the official consultancy firms that actually deals with
I think that's too much anyways, though, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean 90.
Still again, how much do you think Jadon Sancho is worth?
At the moment, I think considering everything, 70-80 million max.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought it was this ridiculous, like 60 or
No, no,
50.
no,
I'm
no,
like,
no,
this
no,
guy,
80 million,
bro.
80 million, 80 million is fine. But my problem is all the guys we brought into United since Fergie left for over 60 million, they've all flopped. Pogba just about makes it. Lukaku, Di Maria, flipping, who else? There's quite a few. And literally all of them have gone. All of
So
them have gone.
this,
Not
this
even
is
one.
this is officially from KPMG, who do a lot of the consultancy work directly with clubs. Sancho's current valuation with them is 117 million euros. Harry Kane's the most valuable English player at 125. Sterling 125. Sancho 117. Rashford number 4 115. Trent Alexander-Arnold is worth 110 million euros. So Jack Grealish 72 million. Foden 70 million. Mason Mount in the top 10 there on 66 million. That's from KPMG, who are the leading sports consultancy on the planet. They actually are the consultancy who have made the methodologies that the clubs use when it comes to assessing how much their players are worth. It's well worth reading their website and how and what they do to put the valuations together. And honestly, if every football fan was, I'd make a rule if I run football. No football fan is allowed to watch another game again or give an opinion on transfers until they read their article, read how you evaluate players, and do a test and pass. Because if you did that, it would stop all the nonsense I hear come out of people's mouths.
Terry, how about this one?
So draining.
How about this one? I've been against this for a year and a half now, but now let's get into it. Screw it, why not? Bring Vonnie back. Bring Vonnie back.
Vonnie?
No, Vonnie. Bring Ronaldo back.
That would be a madness, bruv. Listen, Fixer, thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. I really do appreciate that a lot. Jay Lings again with another super chat. Thank you, sir. He says, Andre Silva or Danny Ings. Listen, I don't know enough about Andre Silva, but I'd take a punt on him over Danny Ings. I don't know why. Just my gut said.
Is it the Liverpool thing that in the back of your head that's bothering you about Ings? Is it that the Liverpool thing? Obviously, he's still at Liverpool. Is it? No.
I would like nothing more than to sign a Liverpool reject and he come in here and make us Premier League champion. That would be that's beautiful. Do you get what I mean? Like, I'd love that. I don't know something about that, Danny. Maybe it's his knees. Maybe it's his injury. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that he's only really ever scored the goals when he plays for teams that nobody defends against. I'm concerned about. But yeah, I don't know something about Andre Silva. I don't even. The worst thing is, I know nothing about Andre Silva. But I'd pick him over Danny. My initial
it's the devil you don't know over the devil you know, and it like
this is true. Man like Eye Test is coming on the show with us now. Eye Test, welcome back to the Terrace, mate. What do you want to say?
Yes, so talking about strikers. So for me, this next summer, yeah, I wouldn't buy a striker. What I would do is buy a right winger, a CDM, a centre back, and what I would do is I would extend Cavani for 1 more year, because what that does is I think it will give Martial 1 more chance. You see, with Martial, yeah, I'm not a big fan of him because of his work ethic. I know he's a good player. He has amazing finishing. He's a good dribbler, but I don't know about his work ethic. And I think extending Cavani for 1 more year, what I will do is, listen, I will tell Martial, listen, this is your last chance. This is your last chance before we buy a younger striker that will overtake you. You have to boo this season. If you don't, we're gonna sell you and get a younger striker. And what I will also do is loan Mason Greenwood out to a Bundesliga team to play a striker. If Haaland leaves Dortmund, yeah, I would loan him out to Dortmund to play striker so he could prove himself as a striker. Because if he stays here, he's probably not going to get a lot of opportunities as a striker. He's going to play as a right winger, and he's not going to be able to develop himself. So if you loan him out to Dortmund, then it will give him the opportunity to prove himself. And next season, if neither Greenwood or Martial prove themselves, like say Greenwood doesn't do well in his loan and Martial still doesn't, boo, I would look to buy a younger striker. Isaac, for example, he's proven that he could. Unlike Harry Kane, he's proven that he could win trophies. He's proven that he could win trophies in Europe's top 5 league and not just be a side chick in the team. He actually finished top goal scorer in a Copa del Rey and won the trophy for Real Sociedad. The first time they won it, I think, in over 30 years. And the first time Real Madrid or Barcelona wasn't in the final in over 10 years, I think, because of him. Yeah. Also, there's Daka as well, who's outperforming Haaland in the Austrian league. Haaland obviously is number one target, but that's going to be difficult. So I would look at Daka, maybe Isaac, maybe.
I was with you. The whole keep Cavani, buy right wing, DM center, but I was with you. And then I was with you with the whole Thomas Shaw's got one more chance. I was with you. And then you said loan out Mason Greenwood. It doesn't
to prove himself as a striker, because if he stays, he's not going to be able to prove himself.
But your point of
he's going to play right wing.
But he's been getting games at striker. He's been getting games at striker for Manchester United. But
not enough.
But if Cavani stays for one more year and we buy right winger, that forces Mason Greenwood to get more time down the middle. Because guess what? Cavani would get pushed back in the pecking order. Cavani is getting more game time now because Martial is out. You know what I'm saying? Like he's also been very injury prone. So we have to keep Mason Greenwood, and we have to play. We're gonna have to play him down the middle more and more and more. He's only 19. You're saying send him out alone. If he flops at 19, 20 at Dortmund, then you get rid of him, or you put him to wayside. That makes no sense.
2 year loan. 2 year loan.
2 years.
You know, maybe 1 year loan.
Do you know what Do you know what I love about you as well? I remember when you came on here and we spoke about Haaland nearly a year ago. Well, he hadn't joined Dortmund at this point, and you were talking about how we can't trust that he's very, very good based on the fact that he hadn't done it in one of the top leagues. He's in Austria, and now you're talking about we should sign Daka because he's doing better than what Haaland was doing in Austria. Your logic, your twisting of your logic never ceases to actually entertain me.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did say it.
I can't remember me saying that.
You definitely spoke about Haaland not being looked at because he hasn't done it in a top league yet. But do you know what I would say to you is this, mate? What I would say, I'll be very, very open and honest with you about this sort of stuff. Greenwood isn't going out on loan. He's in the best place for himself right now. He's at the club that wants him. He's going to be taught and nurtured here, protected by the football club here as well. Him going out on loan, it's silly, and it definitely isn't going to happen. He's too good to go out on loan. He'll be nurtured in the same way, nice and slowly, in the same way that we've seen happen with Phil Foden. It's just going to be slowly done. And for a couple of seasons, this is that second season. And next year, he's going to be unleashed on a far more regular basis. I think he's going to have a very good end to the season. And the kid's going to be an absolute star. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Tess, in terms of the Sancho deal, are you excited about the fact that United are just waiting for a price now? Once they get the price they want, the deal's going to be done, according to
yes, I think this is very good business. And you know what? When Dortmund were asking for 120 million, I was one of the only people saying this is stupid. I didn't understand why a lot of Man United fans were attacking the Glazers for not buying him for 120 million. That's stupid money. Yeah, and now it looks like we could get him for 80 million, which is a better price, which is a much better price. So if that happens, that's very good business, and I want everyone to apologize to the Glazers. Because
to who?
Now you see to the Glazers because they look how much money they've saved from 120 million to 80 million. Come on.
Look how much money they've wasted over 7, 8, 9 years. I test one Sancho deal is not enough for me to be like,
on this one, and yes, they've done wrong, but on this one, you have to say you was wrong.
No, I test
because he was wrong.
This is not by design. No, I don't, because this is not by design. This opportunity for Sancho is not by design. They did not say no, we're not going to go sit Sancho. What we're going to do is we're going to wait. We're going to go get a backup right winger or a lone right winger who's older and experienced, who could come in for a year, maybe 2, to help us, and then we go back in for Sancho. That wasn't the plan. This is not planned. This is all coincidence.
If Dortmund had done what they've meant to have done this year and actually made the top 4, they still may. The price isn't going to be as low. That's why they're not setting it yet. That's why they're waiting Manchester United wait. If Dortmund were like a certainty to finish in the Champions League, the price would be set. If they're a certainty mathematically to fall out of it, they'd have set the price. They haven't, because they're waiting on that decision. If they make the Champions League, the price increases. the price goes up, meaning we'll have barely saved anything. So let's wait to see what happens and what comes out. Testo, thanks for calling in, having your say. Appreciate that, bro. Next up, we've got Ian. How's it going, mate? What do you want to say?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Very good, man. I'm just
good. Yeah, what do you want to say, bro?
This whole thing of the apologizing to Glazers, I think that's complete bullshit. That was lack of ambition last season of not getting Sancho. It's not my money. I don't care how much you pay. Get me the player that our manager wants and is targeting. This whole thing of, oh, look, we waited a season and saved money. No, we lost off on a potential title challenge. That's what we've lost on by not paying the extra money last year. Anyway, about the Jadon Sancho deal, I wanted at least one of Haaland or Sancho, one marquee signing, and then a replacement signing on. So, like, let's say we got Haaland, I want Rafinha at right wing, or a right wing at least. So it doesn't matter which position we get. We need a striker either. So, like with Sancho, I would still want a striker, a good enough striker. I'm not happy taking mediocrity like Bamford does not do it for me. Calvert-Lewin does not do it for me. If you want to bring someone, bring a young perspective like Andre Silva from the Bundesliga. I've watched the Bundesliga enough, and he's almost up there with Haaland in terms of goals, and someone I think could be worth investing in. In terms of Cavani, nope, not another deal. Thank you for what you did yesterday. Thank you for the wonderful things this season, and I hope you continue to do well this season. But that's all we needed you for, one season. And the Cavani just shows that this club needs a striker, and that what we're lacking and what investing in a number 9 can bring to us, rather than giving Cavani another season. He's injury prone, and I appreciate his movement is world class. I'm not. There's nothing against Cavani. It's just he's too old and not reliable enough for a club like Manchester United. And I appreciate what he's done this season, but he's just proven to us what a proper number 9 can do for us. So we send him off this season. Great. He's had a wonderful year, and hopefully we can just get a better number 9.
Yeah, mate. Listen, great call. Great points being made there. Viewers, what do you make of the striker options being put forward by Ian? Top man, thank you very much for coming on. We're going to go to Simon Hughes next. Simon, welcome back to the Terrace. What do you want to say, mate?
All right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
And you, KJ, my Birmingham brother. How are you doing?
Long time, bro. Long time no see. Glad to see you back, my brother.
Yeah, man. I've been at work, so I was in lockdown the last time. So, for me, I think the minimum we need is, if we're not going to get a striker, it's got to be Sancho and a centre back. For myself, if we're not going to go for a striker this season, it's got to be Sancho and a centre back. Whoever that centre back will be to partner Maguire. I think yesterday was really good myself. I watched the game. Bit disappointed, with the first goal, but I think we've got to keep Cavani for at least another season. In my eyes, his movement in the box I don't think you're going to get another striker like that, really. Young or old. So to me, it's got to be Cavani for a year, Sancho centre back, and then if we've got enough for a centre defensive midfielder, because with McTominay and Fred, it doesn't really work. But I think we got to give a bit of respect to Fred yesterday. After the first half, the second half, he was fantastic. So,
yeah, certainly. I think on your Cavani point, I understand where you're coming from. I mean, if you add up the minutes he's played in the league this season, it only equates to 12 games in total, like 12 90-minute games, and he has 9 goal contributions in that time. So he's goals per minute sort of scoring and creation, which is his main job, is phenomenal. I agree with KJ though. The injury record has kept it a little bit more than we would want it to. But if we can't sign a top level striker and we want an A-class creme de la creme, top of the tree striker, and we can't get one, I think renewing him for a year is a safer option than doing what we seem to have done in the past. But okay, we can't get him. Let's get our 5th choice and see what he does. I don't like the idea. It's something about that just makes me feel, I don't know, it gives me a horrible taste in my mouth, really, if I'm being honest.
I totally agree. Totally agree, Terry. I think the last couple of seasons with what Ollie's had, he hasn't had his first choice, hasn't had his second choice. He's either ended up with his 3rd, 4th or 5th choice. Hopefully with the new transfer window coming in, we'll see a different plan. hopefully he'll get his first or second choice. At the moment, I'm not Ollie in and I'm not Ollie out. I'm Ollie on the fence. The best way to put it, because until he starts getting what he wants and what we need, that is when I'll start judging him. At the moment, this season he's done absolutely phenomenal with the team that he's had. With not getting everything that he wanted. Of course, we wanted Sancho last year, same as you. I was watching on the way home, driving on the way home while I was picking up my son, wanting to get on the show. So I think we need to start judging him from now. I think this is it. His second full season in charge is when we should start judging him. As soon as he gets the team around him, if he starts to not do any good, then that's when we need to start thinking about a new manager.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I completely agree. I either want him out or I want him to be backed so that we can just. There's two reasons. If he comes out, and we bring a better manager in, and we go to new levels, and we know Ollie was an issue without signing the players. What's going to be frustrating for people is a new manager comes in and then they fill the holes and problems. I would kind of like to see Ollie given an opportunity, just so we can put the argument to bed. I mean, I'm happy to write off one more season. I've written off enough in the last 10 years as it is. So the element of let's just see what happens. Give him that right side of the tackle, give him the CDM, give him the centre back, and then go out and see what you can do. And then I think we won't argue. Equally, you then build a squad that's excellent for the next manager to take over from and grow from. It's not the end of the world as long as we don't go in a new direction. Simon, great, mate. I really appreciate you coming on and having your say.
Can I make one point?
Yeah, go on, mate. Go on.
Manager. Sorry. I just think you got to look at Chelsea with Frank Lampard. They brought in loads of players this season. And Frank was doing okay. And then they brought in a top manager like Tuchel. And the games picked up. They're just starting to tail off a little bit, tiny little bit. But I think, they've got the manager. That's where we need to be. We need to go for those A-class or, A-star or A players. A-rated players, and then see what Ollie does. And
I agree, because the squad needs them for Ollie, but we need them for the club more than Ollie. This notion of I don't think we should buy Ollie any more players is stupid. We buy players for the club so that the next manager has a really good squad. It just doesn't make sense saying no to Ollie, because then you might miss a target. Imagine this summer they go, listen, Ollie, we're not happy. We're not going to give you Haaland, but Haaland wants to come. We're not going to get you Haaland because of you. Yeah. Haaland goes Chelsea, and then the new manager comes in and is like, I wish we'd signed Haaland. It's just dumb. Listen, Simon, sorry, mate. I've got to end the call now because I've got to end the stream, mate. Top man, thank you for coming on, bro. Really appreciate that. KJ as well, thank you for your time. Everyone who's tuned in, all the super chats. We're back at 9 p.m. We're doing a big Champions League preview, so make sure you are here for it. Until then, take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you